Welcome, Val Budischak, Executive Director of the Epilepsy Foundation of Delaware. Thanks for making the time.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Now, I wonder if we could start by having you talk about your pathway to this job. I like to know, what makes people tick.
Yeah, sure. So I came to this job via my background in social work. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I worked for years in medical social work at the Ronald McDonald House of Delaware. And I was looking for a change and stumbled upon a program director position here at the Epilepsy Foundation of Delaware. And started that role in 2014 and then became executive director in 2016.
Wow, great. And how was the organization founded? Talk about that and then the mission.
So I had to dig back. I knew what year we were founded in 1964, but that's before my time. So I had to dig back to find the details. I knew that we had started as part of the Easter Seal, and that's what I found. So there was a group of folks at the Easter Seals, physicians, parents, concerned community members who really wanted to focus on epilepsy. So they created a separate organization to focus on the problems of living with epilepsy and helping folks deal with that. And then, throughout the years, we became associated with the Epilepsy Foundation of America. And we are our own independent 501c3, the Epilepsy Foundation of Delaware, but we are affiliated still with the Epilepsy Foundation of America, which leads us to a vibrant network of folks around the country that we can, share best practices and resources.
Sure. What is epilepsy?
So can I start with what a seizure is? Okay. So everybody's brain has cells in it called neurons. And in order for your neurons to communicate with each other and let your brain function, they have to send these electrical impulses. That's how they talk to each other. So everybody's brain is sending electrical impulses all the time. What happens in a seizure is that there are electrical impulses that are overfiring. There's too much electricity. And depending on where that happens in the brain, you might get different seizure symptoms. So a lot of times people, when they think of a seizure, they think of convulsions and falling to the floor and that kind of thing. And those are some symptoms. But you could also get a brief scaring spell, or confusion, or muttering, or an extreme sensation of anxiety or something like that. It really just depends on where that electrical activity is overfiring in the brain.
Sure.
And so that's what a seizure is. So everybody has the possibility to have a seizure. 1 in 10 people will have a seizure in their lifetime. And it really just depends on the situation. Most of those one-time seizures are these extreme kind of situations that folks can find themselves in. For example, a lot of people have heard of the term a febrile seizure or fever seizure in small children. And that's precipitated by, infection or virus that the child has that makes them spike a high fever very quickly, and they have a one-time seizure.
Sure.
Probably will never have a seizure again.
And I was just going to say, it's not only the person having the seizure who's affected, can be the parents, the siblings, the teacher, someone in law enforcement, a workmate. And your organization works to inform all of these groups. Can you talk about that?
Sure. So we train any group that really comes to us and asks us for training. We are certified instructors of seizure first aid. So this is a national program similar to CPR. So that's the course that we offer most of the time, but we can offer other courses if folks wish. And this course allows each participant to have a certificate of seizure first aid certification for 2 years. And it explains kind of what I went into about definitions of seizures and how to help people who are having seizures and other things to think about for folks who are living with seizures and epilepsy. Can I explain? Okay. Can I give a definition of epilepsy?
Yes, please.
Go over my time. So epilepsy is when folks have more than one seizure without any precipitating situation. So recurrent unprovoked seizures is the definition of epilepsy. And 1 in 26 will develop that in their lifetime.
Wow. Now, as we were chatting before we started, my colleagues and I were talking about this today. And, we said to one another, gosh, you just don't hear so much anymore about people having seizures, adults. Have there been a lot of advancements in treatment?
There have been changes in treatment, yes. So in the 90s, there was a huge surge of different medications that came to market, which helped with a lot of side effects that were pretty extreme that folks were having with medications prior. So, extreme fatigue, there was, hair growth, weight gain, those kinds of things. So some of these new medications that came out and the ones since then, have helped with some of these side effects a little bit, but really not really changed the amount of folks who are controlled, whose seizures are stopping from them. So some of the other treatments that have come to market are surgeries, brain surgeries, and devices, implanted devices that have helped really control those electrical impulses in the brain.
Do you happen to know what percentage of our Delaware population might be directly impacted? I don't mean family members, but
people who currently have epilepsy. It's about 10,000 people in Delaware currently are living with epilepsy. But like I said, 1 in 26 will develop epilepsy, and the largest group of folks diagnosed are older adults. So there's always folks that we need to inform and explain what's going on, so that if they happen to have a seizure, especially the more subtle forms and with staring spells, that they their loved ones, they may know what's going on and get treatment.
Val, what would you like the public to do? How can the public support your work?
I think generally the public can just talk about it more. And you shared your story of that you don't hear about it as much. It's kind of disheartening. And I think some of the times that's what I hear from folks too, that they'd rather not share or tell folks that they have epilepsy. There's still some kind of concern around that. And so I would like folks to be able to come to us, feel comfortable to share, to talk, to find support, and know that they're not alone. And we have programs, we have support groups, we have events. We just had a Valentine's party. We have a 5K coming up in June. We have a big night out in March. And folks can check out our website, EFDE.org, and find all of these things for our mailing list. And we just want to create this community of support and strength, and for folks to know that one of the quotes that one of our members said is that I have epilepsy doesn't have me. And so that's just one part of you, and you are a whole person, and we want folks to realize that they're not alone.
That is a great perspective. Val Budischak, thank you so much. And we'll do our best to get the word out.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Take care now.